Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today I'm going to talk about eliminating rats and mice from your environment. Now this is not going to be about mouse traps or rat traps. I already did a video on that a couple of months ago. If you want, I'll put a link down below, and I found the best mouse trap, well, so far in my life. But today is going to be about alternative ways to get rid of mice and rats in your environment in a non-toxic way. So I got everything here behind me, and this whole experiment lasted from last fall till this week. Roughly 5 months I've been carrying on this experiment to see which one of these formulas actually work. So I got a list right here in front of me, and this is what I did over the whole winter. And I've got some fantastic results. Okay, so I tried these are all homemade recipes, non-toxic, and they work just as good as a mouse trap for many on YouTube, but for me, only one of them worked. Okay, so first of all, I tried the instant potato flakes. And the instant potato flakes, yeah, they did go after them a bit, but I tried it in two versions. One with just the instant potato flakes, and the second one I tried with some, just a little bit of a sprinkling of instant hot chocolate powder on top. And I would say, nah, they didn't go near it hardly at all. The next one was, that you'll see on the internet a lot, is 1/3 flour, 1/3 sugar, and 1/3 baking soda. And this is what I've got right here. It's the baking soda. I bought 2 of these containers, and that's what's left over. And this one here was about this full when I started. Okay, so that particular formula, no luck. Like hardly at all. And I'm going to show you some of these things. I got the proof right here. Okay, another one was 1/3 flour, 1/3 hot chocolate powder, and then again 1/3 the baking soda. And the main whole idea of this is the baking soda. And if you want, you can search on the internet. You can see how it actually works. But I mean, I figure it's just best to show you what actually worked for me. That one didn't work at all either. Now that was a little more successful than without the hot chocolate, but to tell you the truth, nah, it didn't do much. Okay, then I just tried 2/3 the hot chocolate powder to 1/3 baking soda. I thought that one would have been great. No, it didn't do much better than the rest. Then I tried, okay, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, okay, I mean, I even tried 2/3 Coffee Mate, because that's like a powder with a lot of sugar in it and that kind of stuff, and 1/3 baking soda. This would have turned out like a block of concrete. Nah, that one didn't work either. So then I got on to the peanut butter, and it was half peanut butter and half baking soda. So I'll show you first the setup that I had last winter. You take a look at that first. Okay, let's just go for a little bit of a walk here. It's fresh snow on the ground, -15 out. And we'll see if we can get some tracks. But the rats have dug a hole underneath this planter here, and I got some tracks here, but I think these are squirrels. Yeah, these are squirrels. There's the first bait station I have there. This one here and this one here is the first batch. So that's the first experiment batch. And underneath here, well, you cannot see it, but that's the second experiment batch, and that's the newer containers. And I can't see any tracks whether they've been here or not, but if you take a look right over there, that's where all the rats were coming from, that compost bin in my neighbor's yard. So that's where they all started from. And so we'll go over towards my shed here. Yeah, this is a, I think this is a squirrel. I'm not too sure. But there's the second date trap. So the ones that look like this, that's a second one, and that's a second batch. And you can see where I've stuck a board along here. There's another one underneath, and they were digging underneath here. Now there is a little wooden platform that I had here, like a deck that went on the front, and they were digging underneath there. And so yeah, I think that's a squirrel that just dug in there. So here's the platform here that I just took away, and so this one here behind my steel shed, that's the third batch. So I got this one here and one more. So we'll go over here towards the side of my garage, and I'll show you where that one is. There it is right there, just tucked in right in there. So I've got 3 different mixes, and we're going to see which ones they like the best. So you can obviously see, yeah, it was winter out, and I let all them formulas sit there for a month, and every time it snowed I could see fresh tracks going around. So after a month I said, you know what, let's switch it up. And that's when I went to this, and I mixed one, like a good sized spoon, to a little bit less than 50-50 of the baking soda. And all I did was just mix it in a bowl like this and whip it all up. I'm going to show you how it looks. Now I have a batch here that's been sitting for at least more than 3 weeks. Hasn't been touched. But from the time that I started to put it out, it was gone, and I'll show you how much I put out every time. It was gone within, I'd say, 4 or 5 days. I kept on replenishing it, and I thought, you know what? All I'm doing is just feeding these varmints, right? No. That's the part that I was a little confused about, because I figured it would work pretty fast. If you read a lot of these internet postings, or if you go on YouTube, well, you'll hear about how fast, you know, your rats and mice are going to be eliminated from your environment. Well, it wasn't so fast for me. Now remember, this is the winter time, and so let's take a look over here. So that's what I built right there. Now what I did is, you can see there's a wire going from here to here. Now what rats really like is they want to be able to see from one end to the other. So I put that wire going across there so there'd be no squirrels going in there. And then I just put a patio stone on top so they couldn't flip it over. But I'll show you underneath. That's all I did was right there. And there's the peanut butter. Now that's been sitting outside next to the other baits. And this hasn't been touched in 3 weeks. So I know they're gone. So if we just take a look at the powders here, like you could see there's a dropping right there, and nothing's been really touched. They just went in there and kind of sniffed around again a bit, but these have all been sitting there for 5 months. And you know, they're the surefire varmint destroyers apparently, but they didn't destroy much. And of course these ones went in here for this one and this one, and nah, no luck at all. But this is the real thing that works. The baking soda, the peanut butter, mixed 50-50. So what do I got over here? Well, this is something I designed myself, and you can see there's a box inside of a box here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with this experiment. You can see where the mice would have to go on the side. I'm going to carry on this experiment up in my camp where there is lots of mice. I got 10 acres of pastured field, and for sure this experiment will continue, and I'm going to use the baking soda, no peanut butter, because if I try to use peanut butter up north, I'm going to have bears walking away with it. I got so many raccoons up there. I'm going to continue with the other formula. And the one that I'm going to pick is 1/3 flour, 1/3 sugar, 1/3 baking soda. I'm going to put it in them containers. I'm going to put it out, and I got some spots, so these will be weatherproof. And I'm going to continue on with this experiment because I done this in the middle of the winter. So I'm not too sure whether their diet base makes a difference or not, because so many people on YouTube were swearing by, that particular formula. And I'm not going to discount it because different parts of the world, have different climates, and maybe it only works in the summertime. But I'm going to continue this for the summertime. I'm going to bring this up north, and I guarantee you, if the mice that I know are there, well, they will either go for this or they won't. And if they won't, I'll report back as a total flop. But the peanut butter, the whole trick behind the peanut butter, it took about, I would say, 6-7 weeks before I started to see no more tracks, because I'm getting snow here every couple of days off and on, and I can tell just by the tracks, right? So I mean, a lot of people don't know if they've got any vermin around at all because, well, they don't have snow, right? And it's hard to tell if there's anything around. But when I see the tracks, I know what's going on. No tracks at all over there for the last 6-7 weeks. Nothing touched the peanut butter. So I know. So what I'm going to do, leave that peanut butter right out there. And maybe like every month or so, I'll just change it out because, of course, it all kind of dries up and I don't know whether they want to eat that or not. But I'll just change it every couple of months. And when you see something that's been nibbling at it, there's more mice or rats around, right? So, but should you just go with this particular idea and not do the traps? Well, I'm saying no. It's a combination of both because this is a long-term thing. So it's something you got to continue all the time. If I wanted to tell somebody just to use the peanut butter, and the baking soda, I'd say, look, you got to be looking up to about almost 2 months before it actually has an effect. And they got to ingest enough of it, right? So in my particular situation, they ingested enough and there's none around now. Not a track, nothing. So I'll continue with this as an experiment. But I would say go with the peanut butter and the baking soda and still use traps because I always put a trap in each one of my sheds. I have a trap over here in the garage on the floor because do you want to attract, vermin to your particular spots either? And that's what this will do. It'll attract them. And, a lot of times you don't want to attract them, you just want to remove them, right? So I would say the peanut butter is great over a longer period of time, but the traps work well, too. And if you want, like I said in the beginning, take a look at the link down below and you'll see probably the best mouse trap I ever ran across. I'll show you how I trap them as well. And I trap them away so that you're not hurting any other animals. I don't want to get, like a raccoon in my trap. I don't want to get a squirrel in my trap. I feed the birds and the squirrels, in my backyard. And that will also add to the factor of why you have, the mice and rats coming around in the first place, right? So the best thing to do is be on top of it. You really can't tell if you have any vermin around if you're not looking for, tracks in the snow, or if you live in an area that doesn't have any snow, well, put down the peanut butter. Even if you don't bother putting down, any baking soda, just put out some little bit of peanut butter, like kind of make yourself a little box like I did, leave it there, and if you notice that it's all being eaten, you know what's eating it. So thanks for joining me here today. Come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe, and stay tuned for a further update up at my camp on how the powder solution works during the non-winter times. Cheers.